Okay, we're back. So I got some water on it, so I'm going to dry it off slightly. Just take a clean towel and push it down like that a couple times is all you really got to do. You want to get the excess water off. Okay, now you come back and see how it lines up this time. And see now the holes kind of line up now. It's a little off on this hole, but it's close enough to put a screw in it. Just need to shove it over a little bit. So that's all it takes. Get a little moisture back in it and everybody's happy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put some sealer on this thing. Let's see, that's not sealer. Sealer's over here. Pull that back a little bit, you can see better. Now this sealer's getting pretty old, so it's getting pretty thick. So one layer of this is like 4 layers when it's fresh. So I like it like this when racing. It fills up the gaps in one shot. And if you get a little bit on the side of the gear here, it doesn't really hurt it. Be nice to keep it up shifter there a little bit though. There we go. Right there. Okay. Second, neutral. Okay, lid's over here. Now for gasket cinch to work correctly, you got to get all 4 surfaces, which is both sides of the gasket and both parts. Now this covers, you can see how thin it is here. You want to make sure it's flat all the way across. If it's not flat, you have to bend it a little bit. A lot of times they get bent over here from the shifter banging against it. You'll develop a leak there because it bends the cover up and uncovers the gasket. So instead of hitting a bunch of silicone and stuff up in there, you just make sure it's flat to here, and you should be good. Now the gasket has moisture in it, so it's not going to absorb the sealer real good, but it does stick to it a little bit. But the gasket sealer will not hydrate the gasket very much at all. It does slightly, but not much, so it doesn't really help you on fitment if it's shrunk. You have to use water. So these old gaskets stay put, they don't move around. So I have a real good luck with these things sealing up these old gaskets. The new stuff gets old and hard and fails. It's just not the same quality. Doesn't matter what they say, it doesn't work the same. In another 75 years this gasket will still be good. It's already 75 years old, so it can do it again. Okay, so we got some fat lock washers here. And we got some skinny lock washers here. So it looks like he's got a couple different variations of parts on this bike. So we're going to separate the fat ones from the skinny ones. We'll put the skinny ones where there's low clearances, and we'll put the fat ones on everything else. That one. I forget how many are on the cover here, but there's probably about 12 or so, I imagine. Could count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Yeah, there's only 11. I was off by 1. Memory's failing over after all these years. You think after you packed up 3,000-4,000 screws 35 years ago, you would remember that shit. So that was the packaging department in the old days. Okay, in the corner here we use a small screw, and on the big edges we can use the fat screws. So I'm going to put a fat screw right there, or not fat screw, fat lock washer. Okay, get that one. Get on the outside edges first. You want to catch that inside corner real quick before the gasket goes down, because that's the place it's going to want to slide around. Grab one of the ones over here real quick, just to make sure the gasket stays where it belongs. There you go. Now the gasket can't fall out and slide over and get in some spot that we can't get to later. Looks like we're missing one screw. One lock washer, excuse me. Let's see, put that one over there. Yep. Looks like we're cheated. We got cheated out of one lock washer. Ooh, there's a ball bearing here. I wonder where that goes. Oh my god, I'm missing a part. Probably a clutch hub bowl. Didn't have anything in the training. Okay, I'm going to find me a little washer. I think you'll be able to find a lock washer quicker in 5 minutes. I've only got a couple to choose from in there. And remember, the small ones always go to the bottom. Oop, damn, I just had one in my hand, I lost it. And I don't see no black ones. That's another problem. See, we're picky. Now you want the right lock washer, you want a black one. That looks way too big. Yeah, it's a pretty damn big ass washer. And it's ugly. Look how thick that thing is. That is a high pressure washer. I don't like that one. These look like 1/4-inch washers anyway. Alright, there's a small 3/16 zinc plated, so it looks perfectly fine in here. We'll put it right out in front like we're proud of it. And right after I put it in there, I'll find a black one, just watch. Alright. These screws are well used. And I got something wrong with it. Dirt, crud. I'm not sure. Hear the grit, grit, grit as I'm tightening it up. That's usually not a good sign. So you want to get the inside edges first here, the porting areas. Pop across the other side over here. Kind of bounce around so it kind of pulls down evenly. There we go. That one was tight before it was tight. These are pretty gritty. Dirty screws. Yeah. Oh, an easy one. How'd that happen? That had to be an accident. Okay, so this one here went in pretty tight all the way down. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it back up a little bit. And bring it back in. So now it's relatively easy until you get to where it hits. And then you can put torque to it and get a real torque on it. This one here is not going on, so you have to pull it back up. Go back and forth a couple times and it's tight, but it's not down all the way yet. I blew out the holes in the case, so I know the holes in the case are clear. Otherwise, you got to make sure they're clear because they blow out the case. So you see how the threads are not happy in here at all. See how they're trying to gull up a little bit in there. Put a little dab of grease on it. There you go. A little dab of grease and try it again. Let it lubricate it. Screw wants a bigger screwdriver, I think, in it. Clean the crud out of it. Yep. It's just the screws screwed up on the head. Probably because it's so tight. Okay, looks like it went down all the way. Unscrew it again a little bit. And go back down. Okay. Now I'm going to torque these things down. Give it the gorilla torque. Tomorrow I'll retorque them again before we put it in the frame. Let the gasket settle. Definitely snugged up. Okay, so everything works freely like it's supposed to. We'll go ahead and put our kicker cover on over here. First we have to assemble our kicker cover. So we have some brand new hardware here. Now this is the early screws, which is your 40. They use this 41 to 52, but the late military, which is your 43, late 43, 44, they used a different screw and different lock combo. So you have your narrow arm and you have your wide arm. The narrow arm, use this setup, the wide arm, use the other one. So the other one had a tab that had a screw that went in the side of it. It was a full circle one. This one has just bent over tabs, and the screws and bushings are different lengths. The other ones are longer, so a little bit more heavier duty setup. They made the bushing and the cover here thicker, and the screw area was thicker, so just a little bit heavier duty setup. They found out that this stuff here wasn't very good. What a shocker. Okay, so I'm going to put some grease on this to make sure it's lubed. I always like putting lube in here, make sure these got grease in them already before you put it in there. So that one's lubed up. Do the same thing on this one. There you go, make sure it's all lubed up real nice. There you go. So this is the original cover. Got the part number up in there. I'm assuming the arm's original too, but I'm not sure. You never know for sure on this stuff, but it looks pretty original. Now this here is where the grease goes in right here. And when you grease through here, it comes out through this hole right here and lubricates everything. And you notice how the hole's all been cleaned out. It's got all the crud out of it. So you gotta make sure you got a lot of grease on this. This is the only grease that clutch arm's gonna. It's the only grease that the throttle bearing's gonna see. Yeah, another interruption already. Hello. I keep hearing that all week, but you didn't do it. Alright, I'll figure out when I get home. Bye. Fancy parking when I get home. Relatives don't know how to drive, so I have to leave them like 2 car spots to get in and out. Yeah, modern drivers suck. Alright, so I get these screws in here. There it goes. Didn't want to start, but keep rotating until it goes in. Alright, get in play in it. There is no adjustment for that. But you have to have some. Doesn't matter how much, but you gotta have some. Okay, it's a 5/8 wrench size, so jamming the finger into here is really good for your finger. That means I have a little bit too much torque on that one because the wrench didn't bite in. Now see, this wrench has not been modified yet. See how it's tapered in there? Real short head, which means it slips. So you have to push real hard with your thumb to keep it in there. Okay, it's torqued pretty good. Go back over here and check it again. Okay, good torque. I'm happy with the torque. Still works freely. Finger's only slightly bashed. It's not throbbing, so that's a good sign. All of those are pluses. Okay, now somehow we got to fold this tab over without hurting anything. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Now this one we lucked out, it's on the bottom. This one over here, yeah, the one that's on the bottom is the one that we need to get to. But see, you got a gap in there. Looks like you can put a little screwdriver in there. Something like this little one here to break it. You go like that. And move over to the bigger one, like this one. There you go. They only sounded like it broke the screwdriver. It's trying to. Okay, we got it. Now you got the next bigger one. Okay, eventually you get underneath the thing and get it to fold up. So try to get myself. There it goes. Those are some stiff ass locks. Jeez. Way stronger than they need to be. I'm bending the lever too. Nope, I'm only bending the lock. It's just really, really stiff lock. They're overmade. Jeez. Yeah, that's way overmade. See what it does to the paint? Let's do some touch up on that one. Okay, this one here, I think I can get to that with my channel lock. And we'll just fold it over. Of course, these are going to pinch my fingers in here when I come back around. So if you catch it underneath the jaw there and just rotate it up, like that. See how it bends it up around? And you kind of squeeze on it. It's going to get you in your finger. No way of getting around that problem. Okay, it's almost all the way around. Hit it with a hammer. And that puts it all the way against it. Alright, I don't know if you saw that or not, but anyway. Hit it with a hammer, bends it all the way against the arm. So those locks are extremely over-tensioned. Makes it real hard to get to. Alright, so you gotta do a little touch up right here. I got the paint. Oh well. Okay, so that works pretty good now. Okay, I'm gonna put some grease in here because this is free to rotate all around. And we also have to put grease in here and shove this all the way through the push rod all the way through. So instead of greasing this up right now, because I'm going to have to push really hard, I'm going to leave that ungreased. I'm going to take a little bit of that stuff there though. Okay, work it on in there. See, everything looks like it's well lubed now. So there's the first seal. And the second one's the tight one. That's the second one. This thing feels real dry. Feels like there's no lubricant in it. I got a hole in here. I guess you're supposed to put something in there. The hole doesn't move, so I'm not sure what the hell you're supposed to do with that damn thing. This whole bearing's kind of a joke the way it's made. Let's see here. Alright, there the hole goes through now. Okay, now I cleared out the paraffin crap that was in there. I should be able to pack it with some grease. It's probably going to be a lifetime supply, whatever you put in this thing, so pack it in there as best you can. There might be some kind of a special gun that pushes it in here, I don't know. All I know is I don't have it. See how the grease comes back up? That means hold your finger over it while you rotate it. Still feels dry. Put some more in there. So this is probably the only grease it's ever going to get, so better make sure you put something in this damn thing. Still sounds like crap. See, all that grease is going somewhere because it's not on my finger and it's not all over the outside. So that means it's inside the bearing. I don't see anything coming out of it yet though. I wonder why you put something stupid like put oil in there. See how long that would last, don't you? Make sure there's room to go all the way down. I think we're in between like 2 rollers or something in there. Don't know, I haven't broke one of these open. This is a colony kit, so I could call them up and ask them how you're supposed to lubricate these things. They might make a special tool or something you can buy that goes in there. Quit moving. Can't hold on to it to make it rotate. Yeah, whatever it was, it locked up in there, but it's rotating now. That's a good sign. See how we got grease coming out of it now? That's a good sign. You gotta find out where the spot is. There it is. Use a screwdriver to find the hole. Then you pack it in there. So you have to figure out a technique for doing this stuff. Most of the stuff you just do by trial and error anyway, so. Okay, that one's in there. Yeah, see, it locks it solid until I can move it. There it goes. Sure why it locks solid. Maybe because I'm jamming a screwdriver down this hole. That's not the spot yet. There it is. There's only one spot in there where it goes right in. That makes room for the grease though, so that's what you do. Alright, I think that's probably adequate. Come on, free up. There it goes. And I think sure it gets stiff. Okay, we got grease coming out of here, so that's a good sign, like I said. Might as well put a little bit on the outside just to make a bigger mess. Nothing else that keeps it from rusting. That's about all you can do. Okay. Some more grease on that. Shove it in. We've got grease on top of the tranny now with our greasy ass hand. It's a greasy job. Somebody have to do it right. Okay. Put a little bit of grease on the OD here. Just in case it hits against it, it won't be dry. It shouldn't be hitting against it, but I'm sure it will at some point. Okay, so everything's well greased up. We can go ahead and put a bunch of it on here. We'll see how much of it stays there over time. Okay. Eesh, grease everywhere on me. I'm well greased, that's for sure. Okay, now I go ahead and put the cover on here. Try not to get too greasy again. Can't move the pusher on the other side, it's too stiff. Okay, now this side here we take a lock washer and another nut. This is that crappy nut that I had to file on. We'll put it down here at the very bottom where you can't see it. He can change it out if he wants to. Can't put a nut on. A rookie. Okay, we got a lock on that one. There we go. This one here you got to use a wrench because it's behind the cover. Have to use the right size. Okay, I'm going to put the Tatro torque to it. It's torqued pretty good. Okay. All right. The last one's over here. Alright, it's on there pretty good. Okay, it looks pretty good. Now we got to find out if this push rod works. It's pretty hard to work it, so I'm going to use the side of the workbench here to give me some leverage. Yeah, it works. Bend it in, comes back out. Still a little bit too stiff to work with my finger. There it goes. Palm of my hand makes it work though. Damn, that hurts. So, you go that way and you push it out with your hand. See, my palm's a little bit harder, but it hurts like hell. Okay, so that sits about there normally. Okay, so we got that part handled. We're almost done with this thing. Okay, this is the long one that came out of it. You don't want to leave open holes like this open, stuff falls in. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here for now. So I don't know why they had a long one in there, but that's what they had. This is what the WLAs use, is a short one here. So I don't know if that's correct for the... Well, actually, he is a WLA. He should have the short one in there. He had this one in it though, but this is the earlier stuff. I think this is the correct one. I'm going to put this one in there. There you go. I like that one better. This one sticks out too far. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing or it's like a 41, 42 type thing. The later bikes had the short one. Now the civilian side of the deal, all the civilian bikes had short ones. The trikes had the long ones. Guess the meter maids didn't know how to change their oil very well. I'll check it. Okay, now we need to do our kicker. He did not detail, he didn't clean up this one. It looks like crap. And it's bent too. See how it's bent? That's always a nice one there. So that is an inferior quality one. Maybe he has a better one to use, but I doubt it. Looks like the threads are all screwed up on it too, yeah. This thing's all bent on the thread, cut off. Look at that thing. See how bad that is? See See, it moves up and down. That's the threads over here is bent, and that's bent. Everything's bent. So this is a piece of crap. Alright, I'm going to see if I got a newer piece. I'll be back. Okay, we're back. So I dug up the shifter shaft clevis pin he's probably going to need. That's the one that goes through here in the lever. The one he had was pretty long. I don't know if he's going to want that or not. This is the correct kicker stud, new one. That's why I buy lots of extra stuff when I'm buying parts. You never know what these guys need when we're getting down the last little piece of putting it together. So even though he had one, his was no good. So this one goes in here, but the threads aren't very happy. Probably because I had that screwed up one stuffed in there. So let's see if we can get this thing to start in there. Appears to be starting straight. And now it's starting to go in there like it's supposed to. So it's pushed on the tip of it, holding it centered and pushing in the hole as I did it to get it to start. Once you get past the first bad thread, it seemed to go in there pretty good. It's tight all the way in. It's got good firm pressure. But it's not binding or anything. And it's not wobbling like the last one. Okay, there you go. He'll never know how bad it really was. Unless I tell him. Okay. So we got a freshly black painted spring that goes on here. And then we got a pedal and the wrong bolt. I guess this is the one he wants to use. Probably was the one that was on it. So he put a lock washer on here and there's no room for it. See how many threads are on that thing? That is not the correct bolt. If you leave the lock washer off, it almost is the right length. So we'll put this bolt in there and then let him decide if he wants to stay with it or not. He probably will. Okay, so this has to get wound up. And I got to pull that cover off again, don't I? Damn it. I forgot. It's not like a Sportster you can put together without all the parts on here. Alright, dumbass. Didn't put the kicker spring on until after the side cover was on. So now we have to fix it. It just makes the videos longer, see? That's why we do it. Makes you feel like you're getting your money's worth when you don't buy the video, see? So fast forward if you don't want to see this again. Oh, the drain plug's in the way. I got to pull that out too. Look at everything has to come apart. Take the whole tranny apart. Look at it. Yeah, we're just doing a test fit. That's all we were doing. I'm sure everybody will go for that excuse, right? Okay, that lock washer. Make sure you don't drop the lock washers into your open cavity there. That goes into a sealed transmission. Alright. Now you're not prying heavy, you just pry a little bit here, a little bit there. So it works its way up the studs. Get up there the rest of the way. Okay, now we can see what happened on the throwout bearing. There's how much grease got moved. Almost nothing. Okay, so now you gotta put the spring on it. Now you want the spring to be tension when you kick on it. You want to have tension going up. And how much tension do you need? I don't think that would be enough. I mean, that's going to be a lot. You can see how stiff the kicker is. So it's going to take a lot to do it. Okay. Now if the bushing was well broken, or the bushing, if the rubber seal is well broken in, we wouldn't have to have so much tension on this, but this one you have to. You notice I use the flat bill pliers to hold it. It works pretty good. There it goes. Get in a little further. Okay. I get to put the cover back on it. This is all like we just did this. Put the better nuts on top. Drop. Okay, now we torque it. Okay, didn't break anything yet. Good sign. Hopefully not have to pull this back off again, but we might have to. You never know. Okay. Now the kicker stop here hits against the cover. And that's what keeps the ratchet mechanism disengaged like it's supposed to be. Right now the kicker is engaged. You have to roll this back and then put this on there. So I'm going to have an end wrench in here to rotate it. It's probably not the 3/4. Not the 11/16. Must be the 5/8. Yep. Okay. Looks like we do have some functional kicker spring there too. Look at that. Okay, so you have to hold it like that and put your arm on here where it needs to go. And once you get it on there, you just slide it in a little bit like that. And you put your bolt in. Now the bolt comes down and hits down here at full stroke. Boom. So you're probably going to want the head of the bolt on this side and the nut on this side for clearance. Even though normal position is you have the bolt in front and the nut in the back. In this case here you got clearance up here, but all the way down it's tight. That's why they went to a special bolt with a thin head on it. Okay, so this is going to be 9/16. So it allows you to do this when you're in the bike. There, what do you got? Some kind of oddball nut on there? Nope. So you hold the wrenches so you can tighten things up. So you put it to where you can just squeeze your hands together you hold the wrench on here and you just squeeze your hand together. And so you pull that down like that. Go for one more of those. Yep, not two positions. Okay, it's getting pretty tight. I'll probably torque a bit more like I'm on the bike, but pretty tight now. Okay, let's see if the kicker works. Yep, it rotates. It releases right there. Comes up by itself. If it doesn't come up by itself, you don't have enough tension on the spring. So I have enough tension on the spring. Okay, so now, okay, here's your bolt head. So you got room. Doesn't hit anything. And then down here, this head right here goes all around and gets right in the back of this. I don't know if I can tighten this up with a kicker spring's pretty tight. There you go. See how close it gets? So straight up and down is right here. If you go a little bit forward on your kick, like they usually do, you see I get real close to that. And if you get too far, it actually bangs into and it'll break the damn mechanism off. So you got to be careful on how you do that. On Alan's bike, this whole thing was broken out. Didn't know how they broke it. I figured they fell down, but they probably had a big nut like this on this side, and a lock washer, so it stuck way out, and you just come around, you kick it, and every time you kick it, you nail the damn thing, and it finally just broke the cover off. So you know, the factory bolt has a real thin head on here, and obviously it was going backwards, I'm sure. So anyway, you got to pay attention how things are, and see we got this nice big thing here to catch debris in, because we didn't put the plug back in it. That's over here. So I want to keep this thing, don't let stuff collect in there. Now when you put oil in these things, you put oil in it until you're at the base of the thread down here. You know, not the base of the hole, but the base of the thread. So it's about halfway up through this gallery. That's how you do it. Now the real fun part about these turnings is there's no drain plug. See, there's no drain plug anywhere. Lifetime supply of oil. The way you get the oil out, you pull the bike on the side, you lay it on the side of the bike and let it drain out. Whatever comes out, what stays in, stays in. So you throw the bike on the ground, let it drain out. Isn't that wonderful? So it's pretty much a lifetime lubricant. Whatever goes in, if it doesn't leak out, it's permanent. You doing, Scooby? You ready to go? What? What you got down there? Oh, you want to come up and play with the camera? You ready to go home? Are you hungry? Oh, geez, you want me, huh? Yeah, he wants something over here. Yeah, you want something. All right, get down. There you go. Yeah, it's almost tomorrow. That's why he wants to go home, see? Yeah, it's almost tomorrow. All right. All right, so we got this all done. The adjuster goes back in here. You put that in after it's in the bike. The clutch is ready to go on here. We'll put that on later after it's in the bike. Now this shaft can leak out of here, so I probably could put a little bit of a 3-bond in there, let it set up overnight. So I'll probably do that. That way it won't leak out of that hole. It went in pretty tight, so I don't think it would leak out of that, but it might. The other thing I didn't do, I didn't put any Loctite on these damn threads here, which half these have oil on them, so that won't work too well either. So there's a couple things we can do here still. Not much we can do about not putting the Loctite on earlier when I should have, but we can do, take our Loctite 290, which is capillary action, and you pour it in there. Stand this thing up on end. A couple rags in there. Try not to scratch it up too much. Alright. Of course, the first thing the rag does is hook on something. Okay. Take your screwdriver right here. You go like that. So you put a little dab of this Loctite on there like that. Whoop. And then you just pour it to where you want it to go. We want it to go on that stud right there. You lay it right there on that stud. It'll suck into the hole and seal it. The problem is I got oil on 2 of those studs, so it doesn't like oil. So we'll do this on all 3. And you can pinpoint where you want to go with by using the screwdriver method here. If it disappears, that means there's a hole it's filling. If it stays on the outside surface, then you didn't have a hole. You don't know until you do it. So you just lay that in there like that. Like I said, it'll just suck in. It's capillary action, so it sucks in to tighten up bolts. So see how it's staying right here? It's not going anywhere. That means it didn't suck into anything. Now this one here, it seemed like it sucked it in a little bit. Yep. So I'm going to put a little bit more on this one right here. So put a little bit more on this there. Whoop, that's quite a bit. I just lay it in here like this. And just let it soak on down in there. See how it's starting to come around the bottom now? So that means it's got enough in there. So it had a couple threads that was filling up there a little bit. These ones over here are not sucking all the way around. They're just staying put. This one here is trying to go around. Hasn't done it yet though. This one's running down the side over here, see it? Alright, that one doesn't want to take anymore. This one here appears to be doing the same deal. Alright, so that's how you do the Loctite on that. So let that sit up a couple minutes like that. Then I'm going to flip it back over and stand it up on this side as best I can. I'll have to block it in. I'm going to put some 3-bond down here in that hole right there. And that will do what I need, hopefully. Come back tomorrow, it should be all set up in there and won't have any kind of a leak. Hopefully. You never know though. Okay, that's excess on that one now. Okay. That stuff sucks in pretty quick, so it's pretty well done what it's going to do by now. Okay, I need to put this on top of something. Set of 45 stroker flywheels. Ought to be something good enough to step on there. Whatever's laying around, look at that, perfect height. So you always got to keep a extra set of 45 stroker flywheels laying around for using for transmission holding fixtures. You can see that drain plug works good. Now if I had that long one in there, it wouldn't work. See, that's why you got that short one in there. See, I forgot to put the capillary Loctite around the outside of the seal. As you do that too. That way if there's any imperfection in the steel race, it will fill it in. I'll use my little fine screwdriver for that. Just lay it right in the groove and it'll wick itself around. There you go. It does. It just runs on down the hill. I don't know if you can see it, but it's already all the way down to here. See the green? So it just trails all the way down. And it just goes all the way down, seals up. Yeah, it's not quite all the way down, but close to it. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of sealer in here. let it soak up, sink down in top of the shaft there. That's a little bit messy of a job doing that though. So I use my 3-bond. Usually I put on top of a screwdriver like this. So that allows you to put it where you need it to be. You want it to go down in the hole. You want it to be on the outside of the hole where it makes a big mess. Probably have to do this like have to do this like 3 times. Stringies make a nice mess everywhere. The key is you want to get an even coat on everything, and then you lay a little bit extra on there to let it settle. When you come back tomorrow, it'll be all leveled out down in there. So I use my screwdrivers a lot for doing stuff like this because it allows you to put the stuff wherever it needs to be. You don't have to pack the hole full, you just gotta get some in there. Okay, that one looks pretty good. Wipe off the excess. Three-bond dissipates pretty easily, so just kind of wipe it off. There you go. Dingleberry ears coming through. Okay, how's the Loctite looking? Oh yeah, it's all the way around. It went all the way around. So you can see how it's right up in here in the green. And if you look at the reflective light all the way around the bottom, it's all the way around the whole seal right now. So you just let that set up overnight, and that will seal up around the outside of the seal. So the only place it would leak is around the seal itself, or through this case race here, which is not likely. But you can see I got the sealer in here. So that's about a little over half full. And that's just going to set up in there. It's going to dry like a plug and be done. Shouldn't be any kind of a problem. Now you can put sealer on the outside of this if you want also, but these you don't leak here. If you got a leak in here, you got a problem, so I'm not going to do that. And you can see how the Loctite is capillaried around the studs here. It still just stays there. It'll make like a little fillet, and it just stays at to a certain level because it has tension. Any excess will roll away, but it'll always have some that stays. So, all right, well, that's it for the tranny. So the next thing is going to be to put it in the bike and do that, and I'll help get them into the bike, and they'll let them assemble it from there. So I don't have to do too much work. I got other important stuff to do. I have 45 cases to machine tomorrow, and stroker motor work, and some other junk over there on this side you can't see. So no more playing around trannies. We got to work on real important stuff. Stroker motors, the good stuff. All right, that's it for now.